That's a copper zinc, pegmatite project, and that's again within that Northern Canada, Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, lithium focus area. And there was a big discovery. I talked about that a little bit with Lift Power. Loyal Lithium in Australia is also working up there. So we're sort of we think that's going to be the next James Bay.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV. I'm pleased to be joined today by Judson Culter, CEO and Director of Rover Metals. The company has a diverse portfolio of mining resource development projects with varying exploration timelines. Its critical minerals projects include lithium, zinc, and copper, and its precious metals projects include gold and silver. So welcome, Judson. It's great to have you here today. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So maybe we could start with a brief overview of Rover Metals for any unfamiliar viewers of the Assay.
Absolutely. So Rover Metals, we're a critical minerals company. We've got assets in the United States and Nevada and in the Northwest Territories within the recently discovery of Lift Power within that lithium corridor just east of Yellowknife. So two great areas to be working in.
All right, so let's jump into your recent news flow, starting with McGinley and Associates. Can you go into the company's next steps to advancing the LGL project, please, particularly in terms of permitting?
Absolutely, yeah. So we are working with I would say one of the top 5 environmental firms in the United States, and we spent 2 months shortlisting and interviewing for really to have the right fit. And ultimately, the decision was made to go with UES McGinley because of their hydrogeologist, Dwight Smith. Dwight's worked in this Armagosa Valley Basin for over 20 years. So we really feel confident based on, we had a presentation in front of the Bureau of Land Management and several other government agencies, November 15th. We presented our new plan that included what I would say is a water table flow model that was the work of Dwight's team at McGinley. And so a lot of the concerns that were voiced towards our exploration in the area, I think were alleviated with that presentation. And so we're very near to finalizing our permit. We actually have a Sonic drilling company. Sonic is a different type of drilling than RC. Instead of forcing compressed air down the hole, it's I would say there's a lot less waste that comes out of a Sonic type. So we have a driller going to site tomorrow to provide really just whether we need drill pads or we don't. It's a very flat playa, and that's going to tie into really the final piece of our permitting in terms of ground disturbance. And so we're getting really close.
Okay, great. And then my next question, how do you find operating in Nevada as a mining jurisdiction?
That's a great question. I think if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have said incredible, but it's no secret that there's a shortage of water rights in general, and also very active environmentalists. And I think some of the top lithium companies in the state, notably Lithium Americas with the Thacker Pass project, they've had their challenges from environmental groups. So I think I think it's also just no matter what jurisdiction you are in the world, it's the new normal if you're, in our case, we're an hour drive from Las Vegas. So it's no surprise that this project's being held to a high standard just because there's a very populous place, fairly near to the site. All that being said, one of your next questions is going to be what can we expect for news flow. So I do have some positive news on the water rights, which I think is really exciting about this project. And most investors don't know about the developments we're making on water rights at the moment. So
moving on, the company recently completed an expanded phase 1 exploration program at your LGL lithium project. Could you share some of the details of this and the findings?
Yeah, absolutely. So what the initial prospector that made the discovery for this project, had, I'd say, covered, very small percentage of the claim block. And so we went down, and also I should just mention that the prospector was not, the original prospector is not a lithium specialist. And so we went down in August with a geologist that has done his, he actually did his master's on the Thacker Pass project, which is the claystone soft rock project. That's James and Graphia. So I brought James to site, and he really focused in on some of the limestone areas. We have some areas where there's some limestone outcrop. And so we did a more extensive sampling program. And we also had a handheld laser. It's like these are called LIBS guns. So we were able to, that sort of evening in the hotel, verify results and then go back the next day and take a closer look at areas where we'd gotten some very high grade surface sample results. So really what it did for me, knowing that we had this, this heightened level of permitting and, potentially dealing with lawsuits down the road, I wanted to get an increased level of confidence with regards to the grade of this project. And, that site visit and that expanded phase one program that I did with James in August really, for me, I still buy the company's shares every week. So I am the largest shareholder of the company. So for me, that was a big confidence play for that work we did in August.
Okay, great. Looking back to July, the company received a grant for the IML Critical Minerals project. Maybe you can tell us a little about where the project is at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's a copper zinc, pegmatite project, and that's again within that northern Canada, Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, lithium focus area. And there was a big discovery. I talked about that a little bit with Lift Power. Loyal Lithium in Australia is also working up there. So we're sort of we think that's going to be the next James Bay of Canada in terms of lithium.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, and so I mean that's what we're seeing right now from Lift's work. So we have a grant. We're looking to do the work on that grant in Q1 of next year. And it's really, there's been a lot of historical drilling in that area. So we're looking to do some modern day geophysics. The drilling was done from the 50s really to I would say the 80s. And so geophysics has come a long way since those days. So we're also going to be doing some groundwork to identify the hard rock lithium in the area. So those pegmatites, take a better look at those. When I was last out site 2 years ago, we weren't looking for pegmatites in the area, but things have obviously changed significantly since that time. So that's that's some exploration news we can hopefully look forward to in Q1 of next year.
Great. Sounds really exciting. Thank you. And then finance-wise, how is Rover Metals looking to continue its exploration?
Absolutely, yeah. So we raised 800,000 in the summer, sort of spilling into September, if you will, still summer here in Canada. And so we're doing okay currently in terms of a junior miner of our size and our burn rate. And I think you'll see us probably top up just a very, very small financing in Q1. We don't have any drilling forecasted for, I would say 9 months. So, everything else with regards to environmental studies and permitting and geophysics work, which is what we're doing, you mentioned at IML. All of that can be financed with, a relatively small raise. We have quite a significant asset that I'm preparing to sell. We've got the Cabin Lake Gold project it was actually in 2020, we had the 11th best drill hole in Canada for that project. So I've had our geologist, he's actually going up to site next week. He's writing a 42101 or a JORC equivalent report, we feel the project's worth $1 million. So we are looking to sell that project in the first half of next year, and that will be a non-dilutive source of capital for the company. So, with the markets here in Canada remain fairly soft as compared to the ASX. So we know that's short term with inflation, and so for me, one way to deal with those headwinds is non-dilutive cash from a sale of an asset. So we will have, a 43101 or a JORC report on that ready in January for that gold project. And that will, again, help with, treasury down the road here.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. And then finally, to wrap up today, what upcoming news can we expect from Rover Metals in the coming months?
Great question. So what we are allowed to do with our core asset, or our signature asset, which is the LGL project, as I'd mentioned, in Armagosa Valley of Nevada, casual use is still allowed. And so we intend to do a systematic soil sampling program to a depth of about 10 feet. The one that we talked about at the top of the interview which is what was done in August, that was just surface grab samples in August. So we'll be going down and doing a grid across, our 8,000 acres of the project. We'll be going down on the soil sampling to 10 feet. And we'll really be able to de-risk the project. Most of these projects that are in Nevada are at surface deposits. So there's very, very little overburden. And that's the value of these claystone deposits, is just the lithium being so close to surface. And so that's one phase of exploration work we're looking to do. We'll look to do some ground geophysics and some geological mapping alongside of that grid sampling work. And the other initiative that we're working hard on is to secure operational water rights. I have to be very sort of, low profile about who and where that's coming from, but I am in pretty, I mean, the stage of negotiations is moving along well. And we've been able to identify the allocation of water rights that, having talked to other executives in Nevada and the claystone space that have secured mining level water rights, we do know how much to negotiate for. And that will be, I think 3% of the mining companies in Nevada actually, that are exploration stage actually have water rights. So, I'm throwing that number out there, but 97% of exploration projects only stayed, at exploration. They don't move to the next level. And, in Nevada, water is a big part of that. So this will be a huge event. And I think there'll be certainly some of our strategic investors that I've sort of talked to behind the scenes, that could bring good things for our company. So
thanks so much, Judson. Thanks again for joining me and sharing more about Rover Metals. And we look forward to catching up in the new year.
No, that's amazing. And again, we will catch up in the new year, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So
excellent. Thank you so much.